Sitting in FitWorkz hybrid training gym in DeKalb, Illinois, with pretty much a living science experiment on the table here. Tim, if you can pan, we got a little bit of everything. We've got vinegars, we've got a decent cab, we've got regular cola. Since they're not paying us to say their name, we won't. We got diet cola, we got lemon juice, we've got two popular from the drive-up window drinks, white vinegar, the ever discussed, said, supposed satanic symbol on the front of the can. I mean, really, are we going back to the days of playing the Ozzy Osbourne record backwards to hear what Ozzy's saying and how it's satanic and all the other happy horseshit? I don't think there's anything in the label on the Monster can that has anything to do with religion. I think somebody said this is a cool M, and let's go with it. But anyways, we're going to talk about, everybody likes to say energy drinks and how bad they are. Then usually there's 4 reasons for it. 1, the artificial flavors are sweeteners. 2, the caffeine amount. 3, the impact or supposed impact of artificial sweeteners, caloric-free sweeteners on obesity rates. Everybody knows, there's that everybody again, that they did a study that supposedly artificial sweeteners increases the rate of obesity. Supposedly if you're obese, you use artificial sweetener. Again, we don't need a scientific study to confirm that the overweight person at the fast food place often gets the big jug of diet pop, or that they leave the gas station with an armload of pastries, candy candy bars otherwise, and they got a jug of diet filling your favorite beverage here. The fact that they eat like that, of course, can't be why they're overweight. It's got to be the artificial sweetener and its impact on insulin. And then the acidic value. So are the drinks you're consuming, specifically the energy drinks, and Monster, we don't mean to just pick on you. It happens to be the one we retail here in our club. And I didn't have time to add picking up a Red Bull or Rockstar to my day. So let's attack it. Let's go with artificial sweeteners. Good luck finding an artificial or a product that doesn't have artificial sweeteners at some level. Also, if I can, hey Chris, can you give me the IsoPure clear bottle that's off my desk? Not to mention the fact that most food products have what may even be worse in some regards than artificial sweeteners, and that is stuff like high fructose corn syrup solids, so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that that in and of itself is bad, but in high amounts, it can be. In fact, companies like Nature's Best and their IsoPure product, this is brand new, this is like beta product for us. Instead of having the artificial sweeteners and some of the other garbage in there, they're actually using good old cane sugar. Wow, there's an idea. A throwback to, I don't know, the 60s and before then in terms of sweetener. Again, the artificial sweetener piece, it's in many things, and I think you have to pick your poison. Are artificial sweeteners really bad? And I know there's the Jedis out there that are convinced that artificial sweeteners are killing us, causing cancer and everything else. Just looking at the sheer number of people consuming them on a daily basis, if that is true, if that were true, we would see a statistical significant amount of people with illness A, B, or C, and we'd see a direct correlation with heavy consumption of product A, B, or C, and we just don't. And by the way, we went ahead and we pulled up, for you coffee drinkers out there, some of the most popular coffee drinks, and lo and behold, guess what they're loaded with? A lot of the same chemicals that you find in a good old energy drink, especially this time of year, the holiday drinks. So again, it's kind of hard to make a case for the artificial sweetener. It's kind of hard to black eye and label the energy drink as the end all be all bad guy because of the artificial sweeteners, simply because we don't see statistical significance, lots of people sick, and most consuming that product. And also, some of these other products, many of which even on the table, have artificial sweeteners. So point number 2, contingency or contention, is, oh my God, they're so high in caffeine. Well, if I just pick this up, per serving, we're going to talk in terms of servings, and then we can get it into the misnomer, mislabeling, misinformation, yada, yada, yada. Per serving, 70 milligrams of caffeine from all sources. 70 milligrams of caffeine from all sources. Now, again, that too is on the list. You can see the highlighted stuff. Most of your favorite coffee and tea drinks of that size from the drive-up window, per that size, which they're going to consider a serving, 15 milligrams or 150 milligrams of caffeine, 150 milligrams of caffeine, 190 milligrams of caffeine, 185 milligrams of caffeine, 190 milligrams of caffeine per serving. Now, if we were to consume the same amount of this product as this product, it's safe to say, back of the envelope, as my accountant used to say, calculation, we're probably plus or minus 5 to 10 grams of caffeine one way or the other. So to bastardize the energy drink and say it's so terrible for you for the caffeine, you would also have to include the drinks you too are consuming from the drive-up window every day on your way to work. And we won't toss in that you may have had coffee at home before you left, and you may get some in the break room when you're at work. So again, it's hard to make the case and say we got to give it a black eye because of caffeine. The insulin and obesity thing, in the recent studies, I have a terribly difficult time accepting the fact that calorie-free products increase the rate or risk of obesity. I also have a really hard time with any correlation that says calorie-free means you're more likely to be obese. And here's why. On the extreme end of the services we provide, we prep physique athletes for competition. So they could be like Joe Meathead bodybuilder, they can be a bikini competitor, or they could be like Miss Teen Illinois or Miss America Touch a Class or Miss Teen Michigan or any of the pageant competitors we've had an opportunity to work with. Many of them consume things with artificial sweeteners at some level. We're not talking outright abuse, and they're far from obese. So again, it's hard to say that in the real world, the data from that study holds up. It just doesn't. And if I look at the people that come into my club, I look at the people I've worked with over the last almost 16 years, many of which have a diet beverage, a diet tea, a calorie-free this, calorie-free gum, sugar-free gum, or what have you on a daily basis. They're not obese. So I have a hard time accepting that that could be causing the obesity. I think it's a nice excuse. It's a nice way to pass the buck. It's a nice way to pass the blame. And again, if you don't believe me, next time you're filling up your car, take a look at what that person is buying to go with their candy bar, bag of chips, Doritos, Fritos, Cheetos, ice cream. See what they're getting at the fountain machine. See what they're getting out of the cooler, because a lot of times it's a diet beverage. So I'm inclined to say it's the other garbage food, not the diet beverage. The last thing, and this is kind of scientific, or as scientific as we're going to get in a health club, why the products, why the samples, why the cup of the paper. We actually did a pH test to the extent that we can. Now, if we actually could, I believe, do some titration, that would be pretty badass and fun. It's beyond our ability. We did try and hook up with a PhD in chemistry. Didn't happen in time for the video, so it is what it is. You get Tim and Ray testing common drinks. So the deal is you take a strip of the paper, you dip it in the drink, you dip it in the liquid, you match it up to the label or you match it up to the chart, and it will tell you where you are from an acidic standpoint. Things that measured the same as the big nasty: tea, vinegar, balsamic vinegar. Was the cab in line with that too, Tim?
Yes.
The Cabernet Sauvignon, and I'm going to guess that a Cabernet Franc or a Cab Blend or any other red, and probably a lot of the whites are going to be just as acidic. Where was the Coke or the regular cola?
Acidic.
As acidic as?
More so than coffee, so as acidic as Monster.
So I'm seeing a lot of pot calling the kettle black. Now, I think it's fairly legitimate. High acid levels can potentially increase deterioration of the enamel of your teeth. If you drink water, chew gum, maintain your oral health, and maybe less of an issue. Enamel's tough stuff, but we do get a finite amount from the factory in the human body. And it's something to be aware of and be concerned to the extent that, hey, at least there's the awareness. But a lot of these other things are just as harmful. That's why we tested them. So to actually put a black eye on this, I'm struggling to not put a black eye on this, and 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 a black eye on this. And here's something crazy ironic, and Tim, don't show the label. But our olive oil actually registered as an acid, and it should be a frickin' base. Again, it's within the limits of our test equipment. The last point that I'll make is don't forget there's one big nasty chemical, or potentially nasty chemical. It's in every one of our houses, and you probably use more of it than you think. It's made up of two things. It's right here in this glass. It's odorless. It's tasteless. It's formed with hydrogen and oxygen, and I drank a couple water bottles worth of my workout. We call it water, and that too in high levels is toxic, and it can also kill you if you drown. Ray Minkowski, author of the books Eat by Color, Get Fit and Live Healthy. My 2 cents on acids and bases, health of artificial sweeteners, health of the energy drink comparison, pro-con versus common household food products, things you're eating every day. Send in FitWorkz Hybrid Training Gym.